I always like to reach out to some young folks, and put them on the show to get the perspective of things, thinking I'm not just an old dinosaur, Got to vote for Donald Trump. Yeah, vote for Donald Trump. He's my guy. I'm a Trump guy. I like to reach out, get to the other side. So Jadan Horyn is a great guy. Jadan is a conservative commentator and contributor to Metropolitan magazine. Jadan, nice to have you with us always, man.
Glad to be here, Joe.
Great to have you with us. So give us your young overview of Super Tuesday. Where are we going? You're not a Bernie? Are you a Bernie guy? I can't see.
I am not a Bernie. I know that's surprising, right? Very, very surprising.
Everybody, these kids today, look, young people like you young people.
Well, it's because everything's free. Because they don't have to work for it. Because they don't have jobs.
That's what they're thinking, right?
And then when they get a job, they're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't like my paycheck. It's really funny. I have some friends on Facebook, and they used to be big Democrats. And I saw some recent posts. They have kids now. And they're complaining about taxes they pay. And I'm like,
Here we go.
And then you want Bernie Sanders still? Because your taxes are going to go up. I mean, that's to pay for free everything.
Bingo. People don't understand. With Bernie, once you go in and he goes, you're going to get $15 minimum wage. Understood, Bernie, and don't disagree with him. But once you have a 52% tax bracket that Bernie's going to put you in, even if you make $30,000 or $40,000 a year, that $15 drops to $7.50. You just do the math. You couldn't exist like that. But for some reason,
it's okay. You'll have rationed health care where you'll wait 6 months. Okay, to see a doctor, and you will have free child care, but it'll probably be someone who is not trained to take care of your child. Man. And you'll get to go to college for free if you live to get there, because the rationed health care will probably kill you before then.
And I know this will probably all come out in the debates, but what happened if they said we're going to forgive college loans? What about those of us who are paying college loans? What about people who have so much college loan debt? I mean, what happens to them? He forgives them all, but what if we paid it and spent it? Do we get any money back?
No, of course not, because you did the right thing, right? And socialism is the system that rewards people who do the wrong thing, not the right thing.
And why don't they look at Venezuela? Jadan, how come these young people don't see it's happening now? It's happening right now in Venezuela, and countries in South America. And Cuba is an abject failure in that regard. But Venezuela particularly happening now, and AOC won't even address it.
Look, because they prefer to look at countries like Norway, which I just got back from. I went to Norway for the weekend. For the weekend.
Wait a minute. Honey, I'll be right back. I'm going to Norway. What? Why would you go to Norway?
My wife's 30th birthday. I surprised her with a weekend trip to Norway.
Was it a great deal or something? Or
I got good flights.
Is she Norwegian?
She's Swedish and Danish.
There you go.
Scandinavian.
She's from that neck of the woods.
Yes, that neck of the woods.
But you know what? So it's beautiful.
It's beautiful, but guess what?
What?
They have homeless people. There's this myth. There's this myth that there are no homeless people in Scandinavia. Now I've been to Sweden,
Norwegians.
And now I've been to Norway, and guess what? We saw homeless people.
Wow.
So, there's this whole Scandinavian myth, because that's the socialism they prefer to look towards. They don't want to see Venezuela and Cuba or the Soviet Union. They want to say, Finland, Norway, Sweden, these socialist utopias in Scandinavia that are ethnically homogenous and have all the same mostly white people who are, highly educated and wealthy and don't mind paying taxes, except... Guess what? They have high youth unemployment. Guess what? They actually have lower corporate taxes than America. So there are trade-offs they do for their social welfare systems. And guess what? They still have homeless. So those problems that we think are going to be solved here will not be solved here. But yet, today is Super Tuesday, and Sanders is likely to win and win big. And he's going to win big on the strength of the youth vote. And that's because these kids my age and younger have no concept either of history or of cultural context or an understanding of how economics works.
Yeah, and to get medical, just to get you go to a doctor in Norway, you must have, like you said, you have to wait, I guess.
So their care is rationed. So that means
care is rationed.
That means that ultimately the state decides based on a system where you have to set an appointment. It is deemed whether it's essential or non-essential. And if it's deemed not essential, then you have to go to another country in order to get that non-essential surgery.
Norway, man. I mean, and then what are the tax rate? 80% about the 80?
No, so Scandinavian tax rates are around like 66%.
Oh,
so
is that all?
Oh, that's all. 2/3 of your income. 2/3 of your income.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't do do it. But thank you for seeing the light. So any doubt in your mind that Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar were pressured to drop out, Jaden?
It's so ironic, right? We heard for the longest time the Democratic establishment has no power. They have no levers left to use. It's the rise of this anti-establishment wing. Lo and behold, NBC comes out with this story that behind the scenes, Barack Obama is working all the candidates to coalesce around Biden, who he has so far failed to actually, support, which is so ironic, right? Because that was his vice president for 8 years, and so-called they're good friends. But no, the Democratic establishment has always been more powerful than the Republican establishment, and they know that Bernie Sanders will probably set their party back a decade or more in terms of electability. So they're going to coalesce around Biden, the presumptive Democratic nominee, and I call him the presumptive Democratic nominee because that's who the establishment wants. Amazing. And coming out of Super Tuesday and the rest of the states, he'll have enough delegates to be in striking distance should there be a brokered convention.
And Bloomberg, I think it's a brokered convention with Mike Bloomberg and Bernie. That's what I'm looking at here. Maybe Biden's in the mix somewhere. I mean, where does Bloomberg? I can't get usually a good instinctively. I can't get an instinct on what's going to happen with Bloomberg today. Does he pull any delegates? Do people?
He wins delegates today because most of the states are proportional to what people get for their votes.
Yeah.
So he'll have some delegates today. But this isn't about winning. Bloomberg is the hedging of the bets for the Democratic establishment. He is willing to spend over $1 billion to defeat Donald Trump, which means that even if he's not the nominee, they can count on him to open his checkbook and write enormous checks for whoever the candidate is. And if it's a brokered convention, you have Bloomberg, you have Biden, you have Bernie. All right? And Bloomberg and Biden will definitely be allies against Bernie. And that's just the end of the day.
Yeah, this is Jaden Horyn and Tom Perez. Where's at the head of the Democratic Party? He's not there at all. It's all Obama. Like Frankie said earlier, it's Obama that's doing all this, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was just like W. Wasserman Schultz back in 2016. It was really the Clinton machine. So the head of the DNC is just basically a patsy for the power brokers.
And as a Donald Trump supporter, Jaden Horyn, who do you think's the president's easiest to beat? I think he takes out anybody who comes up that they're talking about. Anybody, including Bloomberg. Yes.
I think the easiest to beat is going to be Bloomberg.
Yeah, really?
After that debate performance, absolutely, because he'll be absolutely pummeled. He showed his arrogance in being unprepared. You can definitely buy airtime, but that doesn't mean that you can buy the hearts and minds.
See,
of
you're a smart young man. Arrogance is the word. That's what I keep hearing. Hey, Jaden, thanks, man. Give your wife my best. I ran into her at Fox the other day. She works over there in the building, and give my very best. But thanks for having the spirit and having the drive and being a common sense guy that you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll see you. He's gonna have his own show soon. Don't forget about us when you're a big star. That's okay. Don't forget the old guys who put you on first. All right, everybody.
Of course.
Everybody forgets. Jaden Horyn, right there, conservative commentator, contributor to a great magazine called Metropolitan magazine.